Daktari William Samoei Ruto and the entire UDA brigade that orchestrated the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua got into Rigathi's trap. I remember when they were sponsoring this motion in parliament, Junet Mohammed and Kimani Ichungwa had requested for more security to the members of parliament who had signed the impeachment motion. They had even alleged that the life of the president was in danger, with Kimani Ichungwa telling Kenyans that we are dealing with a black man with a black heart, portraying Rigathi as a very dangerous man. Thereafter, we were told that Rigathi wanted to topple Ruto's government. And so they wanted to paint a picture of a man who could burn the whole country and kill the president. In fact, they were describing Rigathi Gachagua as a mafia. So after the impeachment motion, they expected fireworks. They expected Mount Kenya to be in flames, with residents demonstrating, burning their own roads, burning and businesses and stoning vehicles. But I was amazed at the conduct of Mount Kenya residents because they decided to go quiet. Let me tell you, when you are dealing with an enemy who is quiet, an enemy who is silent in the midst of the problem, it is very difficult because you don't know what they are thinking. You don't know their mind. And I want you to read this headline. Mlima Kenya yaanza kusahau. That was a headline that, if not sponsored, then was misplaced. That the mountain has started to forget their own son, Rigathi Gachagua. And this is the trap that I'm talking about. You see, these people had, I think they were even prepared with enough bullets, enough tear gas to ensure that they were going to quell the tension, to corroborate the allegations that Gachagua was a dangerous man. After the residents got quiet, they were confused. You cannot go and start fighting people who are going about their own businesses. But in the midst of all these silent supporters, something is happening. Recently, there is a member of parliament, Nyeri Town, I think, member of parliament, who was heckled and chased. Now, today I was reading this and I knew Mount Kenya is no joke. Don't underestimate them. Mathira residents collect signatures to recall MP Eric Wambui over Gachagua impeachment. Are people who are very quiet. Are people are telling you, yes, you have impeached our son. And they didn't have a problem with William Ruto. They said, we know we are going to meet in 2027. But for our members of parliament who we voted, people who we instructed to go and save Rigathi Gachagua, people who are paid by our money, people who came to campaign, door-to-door campaign, going there and listening to instructions from William Ruto, we want to deal with them. And I think this is the best way moving forward. These people are saying that they want to collect signatures to recall their member of parliament. Mathira constituency is in Nyeri. So things are tough in Nyeri. They're looking for 30% of the registered votes, signatures of 30% of the registered voters. The total number of registered votes there is 104,000. So they are looking for 30%, which will be about 31%. And when I read this, I thought this is the best way to deal with our errant politicians. But there is going to be a very big challenge here. One of the reasons why William Ruto is reluctant to restructure the IEBC, to appoint commissioners, is because of this. I know there have been court cases and all that, but if William Ruto wanted to fast-track that exercise to appoint new commissioners, to kickstart that process, he would have done it. You saw the rush with which they conducted the impeachment motion against Gachagua, gazettement at night, appointment, and I don't know, letters written to help, to DCI, to what, to be cleared. If they wanted to move with speed and expedite this process, they would have done it. But they are afraid. One, William Ruto is afraid of facing any kind of a by-election in Mount Kenya. He will be humiliated. You remember what he did to Uhuru, the UDA, the newly formed party, UDA against Jubilee, when members of the mountain had been hoodwinked to reject their own son. They started painting Mount Kenya yellow with the by-elections because William Ruto had structured his own team. And that is exactly what he fears. Because if there would be any by-election in Mount Kenya today, William Ruto will be humiliated. So he does not want the formation of a new IEBC. Number two, in that humiliation, all the current Mount Kenya members of parliament who voted to betray and impeach Rigathi Gachagua would be shown the door. And so William Ruto is delaying the restructuring of the IEBC. One of the very paramount structures in a democratic process in a country is by having a properly restructured electoral body at all times. What happens if the president dies today? What happens if the president and the deputy were in some function and they both die? I know you are about to tell me that the speaker takes over, but then without a properly constructed IEBC, then what happens? And because of the hostility that Ruto members are facing in Mount Kenya, he does not want. So even these signatures that are being collected, IEBC still being in the pocket of William Ruto, if at all they will be taken to Hussein Marjan, it is going to hit a snag. It is Hussein Marjan who cleared Kithure Kindiki, against the chagrin of many who are saying that he does not have the capacity. As the CEO, the Secretariat does not have the mandate to clear anyone for an elective post. But if the signatures, the list will reach the desk of Hussein Marjan, you will hear the law being applied selectively. They will start this narrative that Marjan or the Secretariat does not have the authority to clear and verify the signatures. The second thing that might happen, they might decide to say that some of the signatures did not meet the criteria. You remember when Raila was collecting some signatures, I don't know, he was threatening to go for a referendum, and the IEBC collected some of them and said there were some people just drew pictures of other things, but there were no signatures, and on that ground they nullified that process. They can also do the same, and the residents should be very careful. The NIS will go there. Some people will go there intentionally, and instead of appending their signatures, they will be drawing things. That will be done, and it will be mixed up. And if they have 31,000, they will be told that out of 31, even 5,000 are rejected. That will happen. This paints a very gloomy picture for William Ruto, who is planning to accompany Kithure Kindiki for a homecoming party. I don't know how he's going to meet the people because they don't want him. You see, they have been very quiet, but they are dealing with their members of parliament. I'm even wondering, for example, if William Ruto will be in Nyeri and then is in a constituency, for example, in a constituency such as this one of Eric Wambui. And then it is said, Eric is here, it is his time to talk. It will be very bad, not unless they sponsor some group to go and cheer him up. It is going to be very difficult for William Ruto. I also feel that it is going to be a daunting task for Kithure Kindiki to try and unite Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West. Because if these are the kind of exercises that are going on. People still harbor revenge. They are bitter. They harbor bitterness because they feel the members of parliament acted out of order. They had made it very clear that for us, go and save Rigathi Gachagua. You see, even if Parliament would have succeeded in impeaching Rigathi Gachagua, but the members of Parliament from Mount Kenya voted, in trying to help him, they would be at peace. They would be at peace. That is the same thing that happened in the Senate. People voted and they impeached him. But the members of the Senate from Kirinyaga, Kiambu, Muranga, Laikipia, all that, they voted to try and save Rigathi Gachagua. They're in good books with the electorates. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this tells you that Mount Kenya is shaky. I don't know how William Ruto is going to navigate Mount Kenya. The members of parliament who voted to betray their son will be voted out in 2027. Today, they can be denied that right because the IEBC is not properly constructed. But in 2027, there will be no escape route for them. It is the end. They have signed their political obituaries. Let me tell you, it is not only in Mount Kenya. After Gen Z's protest, if IEBC was properly reconstituted, I can assure you, many members of parliament would have gone home. I can assure you. Because Gen Zs had placed a curfew on them. They were never free. Even today, those members who voted to impeach Rigathi in Central, they are not going back. William Ruto is telling them, go back and talk to your people before we start a choreographed development tour in the mountain. But it's not going to be an easy task. It is going to be an uphill task for them. I don't know what William Ruto is going to do. He is looking for Raila's support base. I can assure you, if Raila makes a U-turn, ladies and gentlemen, it will be the end of William Ruto.